Carlos Nelson with Cascade Media Group. And today we have one of our esteemed media people in our area, and has been in the business for a minute. And she's being featured on our Urban Professional because she definitely is an urban professional, Miss Julee Jonez. How you doing, Miss Jonez?
Thank you for having me, Carlos. I appreciate being part of your esteemed guest and what you've been doing throughout the years. So thank you so much for the invite and your imprint in Kansas City too.
Hey, Julee, I talked to you off camera about how we do our videos and our interviews. It's like, hit it. You know the deal. Let's go from kindergarten.
All right, kindergarten. I moved to the Hickman Mills district. I was the first Black family on my block. So obviously I went through racism at an early age, being called the N-word, people driving through our yards, minute trucks, hollering derogatory terms. I had to kind of toughen up at the age of 5. I remember when our neighborhood became more integrated and then trying to make the transition, because for a while, when you grow up like that and you are the only one, you have to be aware of things that can happen to you esteem-wise, your identity, internalized racism. I suffered from all of that for years, and it took me a while to get my footing. But, you know, Carlos, when I think about everything that I went through, it's made me who I am, and it's given me story, particularly to tell other people. You know, when I was in kindergarten, I liked to dance. I would model. We didn't know I was going to cap out at 12 years old and only be 5 feet tall. But it's interesting because I remember one specific incident when I was modeling. I shouldn't call it an incident, a memory rather. I was at the kitchen table and I was writing a commercial. My daddy was messing with me. And my mother said, stop that, because she can end up doing that one day for a living. And it's kind of come full circle, like, wow, I actually am in something. And I never saw that growing up. When I was in middle school, Carlos, I thought I was going to be an accountant. Now, never mind, I wasn't good at math, and the feds probably would have been clank, clank and checking people. But the idea was, well, if I'm an accountant, I'll always have a job. I'll make me some money. And my mother was the one who really kept telling me, I think you need to go into broadcasting. I love drama. I always killed it in any speech class, forensics. So when I got to college, I initially went to Warrensburg when it was CMSU, and I went to my student orientation, and they had broadcasting and film. And I was like, let me take a little class here and try that out. And bam, it just stuck.
Tell me this. So you basically had your guidance from your mother's, the light bulb lit up. And then when you did a little exploring, you seen that was your path. So talk about some of the experience that you had. You're now at KPRS. How long have you been there?
Oh my gosh. And I started working here part-time. Well, first of all, let me go back to my college days.
Right.
Because when I transferred to UMKC, I was interning here. And then I did a little side work, you know, for the program department, but I was working at Chrysler Financial over in Leawood. When I graduated college, I went to go work for a sports marketing firm for a little bit. I wasn't at the station at all. Then I went back to Chrysler full time, and I happened to call the program director. I initially, Carlos, had interviewed at another radio station to do sales. And I had contemplated going into sales. And when I called up here, and at the time, the program director was Sam Weaver, he like lectured me. He like slaughtered me. He was like, you should have went for this in the beginning. You would already have a full-time position. Why don't you just come back here and work part-time? So I would work at Chrysler full-time. And a lot of times I get off at 11 p.m., come to KPRS at midnight, or on the weekends. Like for years, I worked 2 jobs, like 6-7 days a week. That's why my sympathy for, you know, somebody who's like, oh, I can't do this. No, yes, you can, because I did it until the door opened. But that was in 1997. Full time I came on, I want to say it was around 2000. I was supposed to work overnights. And eventually I ended up working mornings, which was crazy to me because I didn't near at the time. I'm not going to lie to you, Carlos. I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared. I went through radio puberty and put all to Kansas City working mornings. But the interesting part of it, Carlos, is that for when I first came into this part-time, people were like, nobody leaves here. Nobody really loses their job. You are never going to get this job full-time. And I wasn't worried about it because I had a full-time job. And then I was thinking about going to other radio markets. And eventually, how God would have it, I landed here.
But I will say this, you've seen that company grow. I don't know whether you know, I used to do promoting back in the day. I'm from New York. And when I moved here, KPRS just had a tape recorder given whatever music, that's Funkadelics, it might play 50 times that day. And Harold Penner was the main sponsor. You've been with KPRS to see it grow, to learn a lot of things. I want to segue into this. I want you to talk to young people that would like to get in the industry, because these people, they come out of college even thinking that, oh, I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that. And don't understand that Julee Jonez just didn't get at the top of the podium. I worked a full-time job so I could pay my bills. And then I invested time in what I really want to do. And I didn't just invest 24 hours. I invested 6-7 years, and then I'm ready to a degree. And now that's a whole new journey that you got to get experience. And our community, per se, when it comes to looking at these positions, the young people coming out of school, they just think they're going to be it.
Well, first of all, I would say, number one, operating your gift. Like me trying to be an accountant, that wasn't the thing. Why was I thinking that? And a lot of times, Carlos, people will go into situations thinking, well, I'm just going to make some money. But if you're not called to do that, nor equipped, either you won't succeed or you'll be miserable in the midst of success. I remember one time, Carlos, somebody brought a group of kids up here and I was talking to them about what they wanted to do. And one of them was like, I want to be a doctor. And I was like, well, what's your GPA? I don't know. I was like, so you want to be a doctor? Everybody I know who's going to med school, they know their GPA. I was like, why you want to be a doctor? Well, I don't know. I said, did somebody tell you you're going to make money? And she said, yes. I said, what do you like to do? She was like, I like to write. So we talked about that and the paths and the avenues she could take with writing. I found out later at the end of the tour of the station, she was like, you know what? I'm going to pursue my writing. So operating your gift. And then I would say also be very patient, because it doesn't happen for everybody. There are some fields you can go to college, come out, you got your job, you've done your internship, it's paid, and bam, you've arrived. Our field, media broadcasting, because of all the changes, even competitively, it doesn't work like that. So you have to be patient with yourself and pay your dues. That means, yeah, you might have to do some free work doing internships. Yes, you might have to have 2 jobs. You might have to dibble and dabble, but you don't know how many years. But if you're going to be doing your passion, like what you said, it takes sacrifice. And also, be confident.
I'm the cutoff king. I want to ask you, when you talked about paying your dues, do you see this generation looking at things from that perspective, that and patience and paying your dues? Do you see that? I don't see that. And I have a lot of interns that I try to work with. You spend more of your productive time and money really training them, and they've got degrees.
Well, I don't want to paint all of them with the broad
anybody,
brush.
but I'm saying quite.
I think what it is, Carlos, people see the rewards of something. And a lot of times, like what you see on social media, it looks like it just happened overnight. It looks like, bam, they just did this and now they're here. They saw at the bottom, now they're here. You see the glory, but you don't know the backstory. And we have, I do believe, a generation that wants it quick, a microwave generation. And it doesn't always happen like that. You have people who are still arriving in this industry and they've been in it for decades, or they have to make a pivot, or they have to reset themselves. And I think we need to start being real with the generation about the steps it takes, not just saying, oh, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. You can do anything if you put your mind to it, but You got to put in the work, and it's not going to always happen just like you pictured it in your head.
Tell me this. So you leave college. What was your first job in the industry?
Well, my first job in the industry was KPRS, because even though I'd interned at different places, I came here as an intern, and I call myself the intern who didn't leave, because I interned in different departments. I went out on sales calls. First, I debated if I wanted to go into sales. I thought about, do I want to go into promotions? And when I was working at Chrysler and I came back here part-time, it just stuck. So, and everybody's story is not like that. You have people who've been to multiple markets or different media. Do what you can do. I just had to follow my path.
Tell me some of the notable guests that you've had on your show.
Oh my gosh, there's been so many. I gotta think.
Just name a couple. I'm
gonna tell you who was one of my favorite people to talk to on and off air. Bill Bellamy is just a ball of joy. Every time he's come in the studio, it's just automatic. It's like seeing your brother that you haven't seen in years. He, I have to say, is one of my favorite people. And I've met so many. You know, you have the comedians used to come in before COVID. You know, you interview people on the phone. Interviewing Joe Morton was amazing. There's been some great people. And what you find is if you can just be yourself, not be a fangirl or nothing, you can, get what you need, when you're talking to them.
How do you know what you need?
Yeah.
No, I said, how do you know all of that? I guess I'm segueing into experience to know what you need and know how to get it.
Well, first of all, it's going to take growth, and you making mistakes. I have made a ton of mistakes, but it has led me to finding the path that works for me. And also, you have to tune out the negative voices. Because here's the thing, in this industry, you're going to get the email, the phone call, the social media. You don't go searching for that, because at the end of the day, you still have to do what you're called to do. And nobody hates down. People hate up. So if somebody's hating on you, it's because they see something and it irks them. And that's really not your problem. So one thing you have to separate is who you are at your core versus what you do. I know I'm a radio personality, but I'm so much more than that. And it's not up to me to make somebody believe it. I just have to live authentically as myself. Either you're going to see it and receive it, or you're not.
That's what was my next question per se. I wanted to ask you about mentorship and the young, and I'm talking about young ladies. The heck with these men. How many young ladies, since you really got squared away and feel comfortable with yourself, that you've mentored over the last decade or so, that have come to you and you've seen the growth and all of that?
Well, I've done that outside of these walls. Most of my things with
that's what I'm saying. Outside the wall, as outside. A person, not just as a radio personality. As we are personalities, we do have another life.
Oh, absolutely. Most of my stuff, Carlos, has been in either youth ministry, or there was a great organization I was a part of with the Hickman Mills District Youth for Change. And some of those girls are married, their mothers, master's degrees. And I still keep in contact with them, because it's been great to see that we met so many years ago, and the years have passed, and y'all are full grown women. And so, and being in this business, Carlos, it's the big boys club. Although women are the future, let's be clear, we're here and we the future. No shade. I love y'all. I'm just saying, because when I came into it, there weren't female mentors for me. So it's important that when you have a space, however you can use it for other people, use it. And the relationships I have with people, whether I mentored in the youth group or in Sunday school, I still cherish those. I learned from them too.
Yeah, I was going to say, because when you've done this for a minute, and you mentioned you see them, their kids and family, my heart just lights up when I see one of mine, as I call one of mine, and they've been successful, and I've had something to do with that success. I don't know. I'll be like, man, get yourself together. Get your face on. What you smiling about? You see them with their kids and you know that, and it's like you auntie probably or sister girl with some of them girls.
Like, I was called, like, in Girls and Youth for Change, I was always like Mama Julee. There's, some girls matures, like, Mama Julee. I remember the first time I saw her, they're like, who calling you mama? And I don't mind that. And even, now relationships, I'll tell you, Carlos, relationships with younger women matter to me. I have women who are 10 years my junior, and I call them like my little sisters. I pour into them, but they also feed me too. And it keeps you nice and youthful. You can't just be around people, age group.
So where do you go from where you're at now? Do you have any significant changes that you plan in your life?
I mean, I think you're always planning to add to your life. And that's what I'm doing. I try not to think, Carlos, in the terms of what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? Because I don't believe in being paranoid, and I need to be present. And there's been seasons in my life, Carlos, and I'm going to be totally honest with you. I haven't been present because I've been trying to grind. I need to do this. I need to do this. And now I want to work smarter, not necessarily harder. I want it to be a smoother transition. I follow my passions. Yes, I do this, but, I like to write. There's some things I would like to aspire to do in wellness. So there's things in conjunction. And I think what we have to do is also be open to what I call the God nudge. If he nudges you in something, it's not force. You ain't kicking down the door. He just leads you to a path, whether it's people or opportunity, and you just take it. And that's what I'm ready for.
Well, that's what led me to what I'm doing. Because this is not something that I really want to do per se. I don't know whether I used to own the second largest Black construction company in Kansas City. And I really like that. But when the creator puts you on a mission and then you halfway like it, that's a wrap. No matter, for me.
Okay. Yeah.
And it doesn't have anything to do with the economics. It does, but it doesn't.
Got you. Yes.
And do you have any closing words that you would like to impart to our audience?
Carlos, what I would say is always believe in yourself, be real with yourself, know your weaknesses, your strengths, and also give yourself grace. This life isn't easy. We're going to make stumbles, and there'll be many times we want to reset and make pivots. And that's okay. Sometimes we're so hard on ourselves to make it, whatever that means, or to arrive, we're not even enjoying the journey. I'm guilty of it. I've done it myself. I want to say I'm delivered. But, I would just say that. Believe in yourself, enjoy the journey, and just pursue whatever opportunities arrive.
I like the words you use. I like the positivity that you have displayed. And overall, I think that's the key to life. Flexibility, not being afraid to fail and learn from your failures. And if there's such thing, try to be as brotherly as you can be in a savage world. So
right there, that'll preach. Come on, preach, Carlos.
As we always close, when you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Good night.
The program is brought to you by the Kansas City Business Association.